Hey, what's up, you guys? My name is Josh. Welcome back to another video, and yeah, I got some more gaming stuff to talk about. Now, for the past few days or so, for at least a few weeks now, we've been getting a lot of some new gaming stuff. Since you guys know I'm a huge horror fan, obviously, I've been talking a lot about the new Resident Evil 4 remake, and there's also the Dead Space remake, and of course, that's not the only stuff either. There's also the I hope I'm pronouncing this right. The Calypso project. I don't know, but that's also a new game that looks rather interesting, especially for its inspiration on, well, it looks like it's Dead Space inspired. That's kind of the speculation people are coming with. But now there's a lot of other articles coming out saying that it's actually more related to like God of War than anything else. So I'm like, okay, all right, whatever. I mean, we can't forget about God of War Ragnarok too, of course. Now, of course, so what we're also going to be talking about today is the Persona series, because it was also announced that Persona 3 Portable, Persona 4 Golden, and Persona 5 Royale will be getting, you know, basically a much more broad approach to other consoles. So it's going to be re-released on, PS4, PS5. Well, Persona 5 Royale was already on PS4, but now it's coming to PS5. But the most important ones are Persona 3 and 4. Those two are actually going to come out on both the Xbox and on the PlayStation 4 platforms, which is great. That's amazing. These are honestly like iconic games where it's kind of a shock that they never got ports to begin with, because these games never even got a PS3 port. They're pretty popular games for the most part. So it's like, why did it took so long for them to finally come out? But it is what it is. At least they're announced. So all we gotta do is just wait for the day to come, and yeah, we could go right ahead and just play them. It's a unique series, and it's for me to actually sit down and explain to you what the Persona series is. It's rather complicated because the premise of it, like the idea of it, it kind of changes from time to time. Like I know with the first game, enter a school. Weird shit happens. Some creatures come out and you got to fight them, but then you have this ability called Persona. Second one, it has a complicated plot. I don't know. It's split up into two different games. The first one was Persona 2 Innocent Sin, and the other one was Eternal Punishment. But for some odd reason, Innocent Sin came out in Japan, but Eternal Punishment came out in the US. So you're kind of missing half the story there, but I don't know. It's somewhat understandable to an extent. I don't know. Eventually they did got re-released into for the PSP. Remember that? But now it was the complete opposite. Now Persona 2 Innocent Sin was in the US, but Eternal Punishment came out only in Japan. So okay, we're back to whatever we're back to that situation. Then Persona 3 was like, the end of humanity is coming, and then Persona 4 was like, oh, there's some people getting murdered, and you're like this detective team, and you're trying to find out who the killer is. And then you got Persona 5, where it's like, okay, so you're a student who got arrested, you're on, well, probation, right? Is that what it? Yeah, right. Basically, you get transferred to another school, and then you find out that there's some really bad people out there, and if you don't stop those bad people, there's actually some real life consequences going your way. And yes, it does affect you throughout the game. So yeah, pretty bizarre to say the least. And what's interesting too is that I don't know about 1 and 2, but I know with 3, 4, and 5 they kind of go with that idea where if you don't manage to complete your mission within certain days, bad things will happen, and it's pretty much an automatic game over. And it's hard to really go over that idea without giving off some spoilers, but I don't want to get into that, only because I want to talk about how the Persona series is getting ported to pretty much almost every system you could think of, even on Windows. Yeah, that's right. It's coming to PC, but the biggest issue is that it is not coming on Switch. So Nintendo Switch fans are not happy at all. They're actually quite frustrated that these Persona games are not getting a Switch port. So it's like, so we gotta talk. We gotta kind of look into it. How come they're not getting a Switch port? We could kind of go by theories and talk about it and everything, but honestly, it makes no sense to why they're not being ported to the Switch. even I can't help but question it too, especially when you considered Persona 3 and 4, because those are much more rather older games that came out on the PS2. So you would think, especially with the way that they're set up and everything, it's like you would assume that it'd be pretty easy to want to port those into a Switch system. And mind you, the Nintendo Switch, it's nothing. It's not like the DS or anything like that. No, you could play like some good high quality games on there for sure. You don't even need to own a Nintendo Switch to know that. And I try to look deep and just try to think real quick as to like, so what reasons can we think of for why they're not getting the Switch port? And I have some theories, but they pretty much fall apart real quick because they're really stupid, and I'm just gonna say it. The reason originally I thought maybe it was because they're M-rated games and they do got some pretty serious stuff about them, but that without a doubt that is not true. That argument is gonna fall flat right away because you could play games like freaking Resident Evil on there, a game that's definitely full of like graphic violence where you're literally shooting zombies right in the head. So it's like, okay, I know that's not the deal. I know it's not because of that. And the reason why I'm bringing that up, it's because Nintendo in the past had that situation where they wanted to pretty much keep anything that was remotely controversial or even sexual to an extent away, because of stuff like the rumors with like Earthbound and stuff like that. Because Earthbound, it was a game that came out on the Super Nintendo, but the final boss, if you look at the way it looks and all that, though, it's like this weird. It got like a weird anomaly to it. I don't know. It looks like a ghost when you look at it. It looks like something that you would see like in a satanic video. Honestly, like it legit does. But sometimes it kind of forms itself into like a baby. So a lot of people are like, "Are you fighting a fetus?" And when they go to the creator of the game, he flats out say that the reason why the boss looks like that is because he was actually inspired by a scene that traumatized him from an R-rated movie. Basically, he went to a movie, into an R-rated film. He snuck into the movie theater. He watched some movie. I forgot the name of the movie, but it was some old Japanese film, basically, and there was a scene that basically traumatized him. So that scene was the inspiration for the final boss of Earthbound. So I don't know. Nintendo's pretty weird when it comes to that stuff, basically. They want to keep it a household family type deal, basically. It's all about the Mario, it's all about the Kirby, it's all about the Link. You know what I mean? Those are games, despite being rated E. Those are games that pretty much anyone can enjoy. Obviously, I get that. Okay, so understandably, you're not really gonna get a young audience playing a game like Persona. And look, I get it. The first game was rated E for 10, but that doesn't really matter. All right. If the game's rated M, the game's rated M. All right. They got some super serious stuff about it too, so we gotta keep that in mind. But like I said, obviously that's not the case because there are plenty of rated M games that you can play on the Switch. Shin Megami Tensei 5 is a perfect example. Mostly because people want that game to be ported to other consoles as well. And I can understand why, because if you look at the history behind SMT, the first two came out on the Super Nintendo, but they never came out in America, so you had to play the Super Famicom. The third one, SMT Nocturne, came out on PS2. And mind you, eventually, I think it was like maybe last year or maybe 2 years ago, I don't remember. Eventually, that did got a re-release. It came out on the PS4 and on the Nintendo Switch. I know it came out on another platform too. I don't think it was Xbox. I don't remember what it was. I probably should have researched that. But the point I'm trying to make is when it comes to the later games, like Strange Journey, which came out on the Nintendo DS, and eventually it got a little remake, a reboot, I don't know, and it came out on the 3DS. And then you go to Shin Megami Tensei 4 and 4 Apocalypse, which came out on Nintendo 3DS. So you could kind of see that pattern where it's like pretty much all the games came out on all Nintendo platforms except for that one, even though it eventually did. That wouldn't happen for like another decade or so. I mean, come on. We're talking like from the PS2 era, jumping right to like, I don't want to say the end of the PS4 because there's PS4 games still coming out. Either way, it doesn't matter. I mean, another good example too is Soul Hackers because Soul Hackers 2, I apologize. That game is coming out on all platforms, Xbox, PS3. I'm stupid. PS4, not PS3. PS3 is long gone. PS4 and PS5. Pretty much everything except the Switch. So same goes for SMT5. Well, actually, it's the complete opposite of SMT5 because it's only on Switch. It's a Switch exclusive, but it's not on any other platform. So it's like, why though? It's like you look at the game and it's like, okay, it looks like something you could play only on the Switch, but it looks capable of being on other platforms too. So why not, And the conversation goes about money. Like if the game sells well, maybe they could do that. So I'm thinking that could be the only prime reason as to why Personas 3, 4, and 5 are not on Switch. Maybe it's a money issue, but I doubt it because these are really wildly popular games. And the reason why I'm talking about this is because honestly, like about like weeks ago, a couple weeks ago, I beat Persona 5 Royale for the first time, and I was like, wow, like what a great journey, And I've successfully managed to beat it while also getting the true ending. So I definitely got pretty much the whole experience. Because technically, when you play a Persona game, if you screw up, you're kind of obligated to want to play it over it again, even if you don't want to. Now, I don't know if that's like learning from your mistakes or something like that. I don't know. Persona definitely has that type of system going on where it's like if you don't do certain things or like if you don't get connected with certain people, you're not going to get to the true ending and you're not going to get what you want. So it's like, okay, it kind of adds on to the experience, And it's great too that the characters are amazing, they're fun, they're annoying, they're suspicious, especially with Persona 5. I remember like how weird Goro Akechi was, and I'm like, damn, I don't want to spoil it. Obviously, I want people to enjoy from themselves, These are honestly games that you really don't want spoiled exactly, And there's a lot to them too. They're RPGs, so I don't know if you guys are into that, but if you ever want to give them a chance, you could try it. But obviously, I can't say that because what happens if you only have a Switch? Then you can't play the games because they're not on Nintendo Switch. And that's always been the biggest debate, especially since the original version of Persona 5. Like the standard edition. Because Persona 5 and Persona 5 Royale, they're kind of two different games, except not really. Because Persona 5 Royale pretty much adds on to the original story, So of course there's the whole argument over what's canon and what isn't, but it's like I don't want to get into that. Nah, come on, I don't want to do that. These are still generally good games that you could definitely enjoy without a doubt, Yeah, you wouldn't really playing with a friend, but it is what it is, It's a long RPG game, so it's really fun, and you have to try it, honestly. But like I said, I can't really say that if you only have a Switch, because if you only have the Nintendo Switch and you don't got any other console, you're pretty much screwed. You can't play the Persona games, and it sucks. And the thing that confuses me the most, especially, is Persona 3. Well, Persona 3 Portable, I should have added, and Persona 4 Golden, because Persona 3, the version that they're releasing is not the original Persona 3. They're going to release Persona 3 Portable. And the difference between those versions is that Persona 3 Portable came out on PSP. And the PSP is a portable, it's a system that you could pretty much take with you, It's a little small little thing. So it's like, okay, And the reason why they're doing that is because obviously in that version, you have the choice if you want to play as a male or a female in that game. It kind of gives you that option, like the gender thing and whatever, you know. And like I say, it came out on a small console. The PSP is not In fact, the Nintendo Switch is like slightly bigger than the PSP. So it's like, okay, so like, why wouldn't they switch that on? Because the more you think about it, it's definitely perfect on the Switch. But it's shocking that it's even coming on the PS4, especially with its presentation. That's not to say that it's bad, but it looks like the type of game that you would see on the Nintendo Switch. Now, the thing with Persona 4 Golden, on the other hand, this one I've always hated this. I always did. I've always hated that they did this. Persona 4 Golden only came out on PS Visa. And I'm over here thinking like, What the fuck is a PS Visa? I'm like dumbfounded. Now, yeah, it's it's dumb to say that. I know, but I don't know. It just feels weird because the original version came out on PS2, and the difference between it's just like Persona 5 Royale. Basically, it adds on to the story. There's a lot of new stuff going on, some new characters, and a brand new ending, of course. Which it is canon. It's pretty much considered canon. So it's like that's like the definitive version. That's the version you have to play. That's the one that you're better off playing. If you were to ask me if I should play Persona 4 or Persona 4 Golden, I tell you to play Golden because that's the one that you're going to get the most out of because Persona 4 it's good, but it's just standard. Why would if you love the games so much, if it looks interesting, wouldn't you want more out of it? That's what these other versions were made for. Not to mention that it improves the originals too. It's like a tiny remake, except not really. So obviously you will want to go for that better version. So honestly, the fact that it was only on PS Visa, that's a crime. Why? That really should have been ported to other systems a long time ago. So I'm like, damn. So again, I'm glad that it's coming to other consoles, but it still begs the question: why is it not coming on other? I mean the Switch. Listen, I'm sorry if I'm messing up my words today. Okay, I do apologize for that. You guys know how it is. When I don't do these videos for a while, I do mess up a little bit, so I am deeply sorry. But I think you guys understand what I'm trying to say here. I just don't get why they decide not to do that. They're not saying that they're not gonna port it to the Switch. They didn't say that. The question is not if they're gonna do it. The question is if it will ever happen, or will it happen, just when, because these releases are coming up pretty soon. I think I could be wrong. Listen, I've been trying to keep it with a lot of games lately. Okay, Resident Evil Village Gold Edition is coming out in October of this year, and I could be wrong. I think when it comes to like the Persona games with their Xbox releases, I think they plan on releasing like right away. Like they're basically here saying, "Hey, get ready because they're coming out pretty soon." As for PS4 and PS5, that might take a while. I could be wrong. I could be wrong because I'm trying to. Huh, sorry. I'm trying to keep up with more than one game, so I'm getting the dates mixed up. So I feel like that with like the PlayStation releases, I think that's going to be in a later date. I don't think that's planning to get released right away, just like with the Xbox versions. That's not even mentioning Soul Hackers 2. That's pretty much coming out soon anyway. That doesn't come out till like I think August or September. I don't remember exactly. All I can say is that game's definitely coming out this year, and I'm ready for it. If there's not too much storage space, but that's okay. And also that's another reason why I can't do gameplays because I don't got any space. So I gotta fix that. Yeah, so honestly, deep down, the only reason I could think of for why they're not getting Switch ports is that it could be maybe a money issue. I highly doubt it because like I say, these are not games that flop. These are games that sell really well. These are the type of games that will probably sell out a lot of copies. I mean, maybe not to that extent. I mean, these companies, they're not stupid enough to give you so much limited supplies. But then again, you did have the PlayStation 5 issue where that was really limited. I mean, not only did the scalpers manage to get them, but it's like a lot of these stores, they were not prepared for the hype of the PS5 because they pretty much sold out quickly anyway. I'm trying to save up some money to buy one, and even then, I don't even know how that's possible because most GameStops, a lot of the employees will tell you that it really kind of depends on like when they're really coming out. I don't know if that's like a vendor thing. I really don't know. So who knows what the issue is for everything, honestly, though. Everything is all screwed up. And the economy is shit too. Let's be honest here. We're in a bit of a rough patch here. So, again, can't be a money reason. It really can't be. But I wouldn't be surprised because that's the only thing I could think of. I honestly can't think of any other reason for why they're not coming on the other ports. It makes no sense. Release them on the other ports. They don't look that complicated to shrink down, especially with Persona 3 and 4. Those are games that have been shrunken down in the past, so I'm pretty sure you could do that again. Not to mention that the Switch is a very powerful system despite its size, so you're not going to have any issues with that. You're really not. You know, the Nintendo Switch is such a popular system to where it basically like went into the next generation for crying out loud. That crap came out right when like the Nintendo 3DS pretty much died, and that system had a great that thing had a great life. Honestly, Nintendo 3DS is one of the best systems ever made. Honestly, I freaking love that. And without a doubt, a lot of good games came from that system. All right, you got to think of it like that too. So it's possible to port stuff to other platforms. You know what? Since at the beginning of the video, I mentioned I'm a horror fan and I was keeping track of all the Resident Evil and Dead Space stuff and whatever. I gotta mention that too. Resident Evil Revelations. It came out on the Nintendo 3DS and it was eventually ported to all other systems. And it's better too. That's the thing. The port, it's weird. It's so strange when like the later ports are better than the original version. That's weird. So you see, again, you have no excuse. You should definitely release them on on the Switch platforms. You definitely can, because it's weird. I mean, I'm not mad. Okay, I'm not mad because is that a what the hell? You guys saw that, right? A little fluff. Okay, I'm getting off topic. Let me stop. I'm not upset, obviously, because they're coming to platforms that I own. So obviously, I'm pretty happy. But what about the people that don't have the PS4 or PS5 or an Xbox? What if they're Nintendo fans only? What if they only own the Switch? They're not going to be able to enjoy these games, because these are honestly really good, fantastic games that you could enjoy their journey. It's like you can enjoy them so much. It's like when they end, you just feel down, because it's like, damn, you get along with the characters and like the gameplay is fun if you're into RPGs. Only if you're into that, obviously. But still, it's a journey. They're different, to say the least. Yeah, obviously you might not like all of them, obviously. I might get hate for this, but like I'm not too much big on Persona 3. I thought it was fine. I thought the characters were okay, and I thought the story was fine. It was okay. Yeah, the premise of 4 and 5 are a little bit more understandable, but personally, I kind of like those a lot more better, especially 5. That definitely became my new favorite. Especially after playing Royale, because I was like, damn, I hate that it took me so long to play Persona 5, but luckily I waited, because I bought Royale, and then boom, it's like a brand new experience right there, though. It's definitely different from before. So it's like, oh, okay, at least that, it's definitely not a waste of your money. It's not. So what I'm trying to say is, whatever you get that opportunity to play them, play them. If you got more than one console than just the Switch, go right ahead and play it as soon as it comes out on the other consoles, as soon as it comes out. Unless you want to play Persona 5 first, okay, fine. I don't know. I don't know if you guys are the type of people that could play pretty much whenever, because Persona is kind of like that. You don't have to play it right from the beginning. You don't got to play it straight from 1 to 5. You can pretty much play them in whatever order you want, and then you'll pretty much get the idea right away, because it's the sort of same idea, just different story, different premise each time, or whatever. So as for Nintendo fans, Nintendo Switch fans, whatever, all I can say is just kind of wait and just hope to see if it'll ever happen. Maybe they will get ports. I don't know. I don't got a good answer for you, honestly. It can't be money. It really can't be, but you never know. You just don't know. There's always more to this than we think. We can't be greedy fans and be like, just release them on the Switch. We can't be like harassing that Nintendo all the time, obviously, or whoever's in charge of that, okay, or Atlas, I don't know. We can only wait and see. So until then, that's pretty much it. That pretty much ends it. So I'm gonna wrap this up, so next time, it's random. I don't always got something completely prepared. It's pretty much random all the time. You don't know what kind of stuff I'm gonna pump out. I really, really want to start doing gameplays, but like I said, because I got like limited storage on my PlayStation 4, I can't really record things for such a long time. And even then, I've been having weird internet issues lately. So I don't know if I gotta switch with a different Wi-Fi. Basically, I'm not syncing up with the PlayStation Network for some reason. So obviously, there's something going on my part. I don't know what I'm doing. But I gotta take a look at that because if I don't do something about it, well, long story short, eventually I'm gonna run out of ideas. What am I supposed to do? Keep making more unboxing videos from eBay? You know, I can't be doing that. I can't. I gotta do something more. I can't just sit down either and talk about random shit. I could do a tour review, but you know that's also a process too, because then it's like you gotta pre-record for the next one, and you gotta be prepared and make sure you release them. And that's only if YouTube doesn't glitch out for the 100th time or slows down, because yes, that does happen, and that is a big headache because YouTube can be very annoying sometimes. So just hang tight. All right. You know, if you're not subscribed, subscribe to the channel because I do random stuff all the time. And you don't know what to expect. If you like the video, leave a like, dislike it if you dislike it. And yeah, that's about it. I'm going to end the video here. And well, let's just see what the future holds for the Persona series. Let's see. Who knows? So until then, see you next one.